We sit right in the middle of the customer response to an advertisement they see on television. I mean, we're quite literally looking at this, we like to say, from the brand out. So we see all of the brand traffic, website, mobile app, even classic phone number and Vandy URL response. But what we get to do in that space is we can say, okay, here's the impact that the ad had directly on your traffic. So was it effective? When we bring in the cost data alongside the TV response data, we break down all of those TV acquisitions into, well, how much did it cost to drive an action to the website, or to drive them into a critical part of the funnel, or even all the way down to creating a sale. So we're kind of the measurement methodology that says this part's working, this part isn't.
So tell us about the underlying technology and how it works.
Okay, so very easily, we take spot logs, see customer response, and go, this customer responded. Really what we're doing is we're trying to understand how much influence a TV spot had on the traffic on a website. So probabilistically, we determine how much of a traffic in any given day was influenced by a spot that was seen on television. When you can sort of tie back, here's the volume of the response, it's very easy to then pull in the cost from a spot and start looking at it from an efficiency metric. I think we're just over 600 brands worldwide in nearly 60 countries. We have customers that are all the way from education through automotive into electronic commerce and then classic DR response. So an awful lot of we know that people are going to engage with our brand electronically, at least at some level in the discovery or the purchase path. That's where we fit in and sort of really showing what the impact can be.
So what is the problem that you guys solve, and what are some of the issues that your clients come to you to solve?
I think one of the best ways of explaining that is when you look at why we exist. And it's a friend of Calum's that was an old investor in one of his many other great ventures and said, look, I know that TV is working, I just don't know which bits. And so the benefit of our platform is to not just show that TV is having impact, but what parts of your creative or your media plan are the most effective. And then you actually get the ability to optimize. And that's the big question that brands are asking us. It's twofold. It's one, can we measure TV's impact? And second, now we've measured it, well, what can we do to make it more efficient? And that's where we fit in.
And just tell us a little bit about the roadmap of the company. I know you guys started in Scotland, you have your R&D in Scotland. What's the rollout, or where can we be a year from now?
Gosh, good question. One the board's asking tomorrow. So seriously, where we're looking at rolling out is our interfaces are getting more complex to allow brands and agencies to do more. The ability to not just look at TV performance in one country, maybe I want to look multi-country and compare. The ability for agencies to look at the performance of particular types of the buy across their different client base. This becomes an important part. And then the addition to actually execute against that. You know, adding in some of the machine learning algorithms that we've developed that really help brands see what that next action should be, sitting with our agency partners to optimize the media buy, becomes critically important as the buying cycles become shorter and shorter. You know, it's less of an issue if I'm buying all up front, but if I have the ability to influence tomorrow's buy or next week's buy, which exists around the world, then the ability to optimize the media becomes really, really important. A big part for us is our partnership with LiveRamp, where we can now start showing brands just not where the lift is coming from, but who, which types of audience segments. Are the customers that you were trying to target with the creative activated? So are you really seeing the right audience come in, go through the purchase funnel, or are you seeing some new audiences that maybe you hadn't anticipated? A lot of the things that we're used to seeing traditionally in CRM or in digital, we're bringing onto the TV platform.
And what's the role of ACR?
ACR lets you get to insight faster, I think is the best way of thinking about it. ACR has the ability of sort of within 5 or 10 minutes letting you know that a TV spot's aired, pulling in the metadata around that TV spot, and then quickly measuring whether that impacts there. To be fair, you also see the same thing with the watermarking technologies like BVS, but you're seeing ACR is just, it's more adopted outside of the US, where spot logs take longer to be compiled. So you're seeing that race to the technology. You also get the benefit of being able to see competitive data with ACR. It's not just the brand that you're measuring, so you can help the brands understand how they can be positioned with their TV performance vis-a-vis their competitors.
And ACR is part of your data gathering scenario.
Yeah, it is. We've got several ACR partners that we work with worldwide.
Cool. And how do you see sort of where we are in television and sort of the medium and it's changing and the demands of marketers? You speak to them all the time.
It's getting harder for marketers. I don't think I'm saying anything new when this market is fragmenting very, very quickly. But the reality is when we take a look out the next 2 to 5 years, you still see a major amount of people consuming television linearly, right? You still see it being a reach mechanism that it is. You still see the changes that are happening in pay TV being relatively slow. And so it's the old adage, the world's changing, but at about 5% per year, right? So, but when you start looking at what's happening with OTT, you look at Prime Television or Prime TV with Amazon showing NFL games, and you see Facebook are going to bid for live broadcasts of the Champions League in Europe, you start realizing that there is a very strong dramatic shift coming. So you've got to be able to start to stitch it all together. You first have to be able to measure the impact that TV is having in linear before you can start stitching it together in all of those directly deterministic measurements. And so that's how we sort of see it fitting into that ecosystem. It's definitely fragmenting, linear's changing. It's not changing as fast as it keeps on CNBC reporting, especially the notification of its death has been done several times. But I think there's definitely more fragmentation. You have to start looking at basically TV as being total video, not just linear television.